Welcome into Giants Postgame Wrap-up presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Football Giants. I'm Madelyn Burke alongside two-time Super Bowl champion David Diehl. And that's that winning energy we saw from Jabril Peppers and Dexter Lawrence, the man who calls himself Sexy Dexy, just kind of screaming into the camera after this 27-17 win over the Eagles at MetLife.
What a great win by this New York Giants football team. And they always say opportunities are never lost. Someone will take the one that you miss. This was a huge game for this Giants football team to keep this division race and keep their hopes to make the playoffs alive, but more importantly, to control their own destiny moving forward. So it's an exciting time, huge win right before the bye, and it couldn't have come at a better time for this Giants team and this organization.
And Jabril, understandably, very excited. 2 weeks in a row, he makes a huge defensive play in the last 2 minutes of the game. But you mentioned the division wins are the important ones. And look at this division. It is still wide open at 3-7. The Giants are tied in the win column with Philadelphia atop the division. A lot of ball game left. But what are your thoughts looking at this?
I think this is exciting, and this is exactly what Giants players and Giants fans were looking for, to keep the dreams alive, to keep the playoff aspirations alive, and like I said, to control your own destiny. From here on out, it's not about what your opponents do, or you have to say, okay, this team needs to lose, this team needs to win. It's all about your play week in and week out, taking it one game at a time and capitalizing and taking care of your own business.
Absolutely. Philadelphia losing to the Giants today. Washington losing to Detroit as Matt Prater connected on a 59-yard field goal to send that one to the L column for Washington. And, you know, 3-2 in the division, that's where it really counts.
It most certainly does. These are the games that you know towards the end of the season could be worth a game and a half when you're going towards strength of schedule and towards the division and sticking in the NFC. So this was a crucial game for this team to beat the Eagles, to get off the sty from 2016. So this is the first time that they've won in the last 9 matchups. So this was a huge win to get that behind them. But more importantly, come together collectively as a group. Offense, defense, special teams playing in harmony with one another.
Collectively, this was really the most complete team game that we have seen from start to finish, the most complete game for the Giants. I mean, look at this. This first drive, Daniel Jones, a 22-yard pass to Darius Slayton, then hands it off to Wayne Gallman, who gets it running, 17-yard gain right there. 3rd and 3, Evan Ingram, a little inside handoff for a short gain. And then look at this. Daniel Jones just decides, you know what? No, I'm going to keep this one, run it in 34 yards, stays on his feet the whole time.
Sweet
gets
redemption.
all the way into
Sweet
the end
redemption.
zone, opens it up with a score.
8 plays, 85-yard touchdown drive. This was the way that they needed to start in this football game. Coming out fast and getting the Eagles, not only football team, but their defense on their heels, because you know they came out sluggish, and this Giants offense came out swinging. So for them to come out, not only having the opening drive, but the one that we'll show next, the following secondary drive, these are the best 2 drives that this Giants football team on the offensive side of the ball have put together, and it all comes down to balance. You look at them in the first half of this football game, you see 19 rushes, 111 yards for 5.8 per carry. Daniel Jones, 13 to 17, 112 yards in the first half. That combination of what Jason Garrett brought in, not only on the opening drive, but here on the second drive and throughout this football game, Eric Gallman is the way.
Gallman just running in. It's Wayne's World, and he's just like, swing, getting in there and getting into that end zone.
It's great to see Jason Garrett and Patrick Graham on the defensive side of the ball dial up game plans to the strength of their roster and their players. That's the exciting thing when you see the progress of both offense and defense. Players elevating their game, relying on one another and holding each other accountable. So it was awesome to see that today, and a huge win once again.
I mean, in that drive as well, Caden Smith, Austin Mack, Sterling Shepard, Wayne Gallman, that was moving around. But offensively, they played great. Defensively, we cannot forget about that side of the ball, because the defense was huge. 3 sacks on the day. 10th game in a row, the Giants have had 2 or more sacks in a game. They're 25 sacks on the year. Looking pretty good, looking pretty sharp right there.
You want to talk about getting an offense off of the field. They held the Eagles in the first half to 0-5 on 3rd down. You want to talk about capitalizing on the opportunities and giving more opportunities to your offense to get in flow and to build confidence through the game. That was something that was very exciting to see. The Giants swarming to the football, getting these big hits like the one we just saw on Leonard Williams, on Carson Wentz. We knew that was the way to affect their offense.
We've seen the defense playing strong early on in the season, but as the season progresses and continues, it seems that this defensive unit is really learning to close it out,
Yeah.
to finish, and that is what we like to see. And we have a lot more for you to see, so stay with us right here on Giants Postgame Wrap-up. We'll hear from head coach Joe Judge, that and much more coming up on the program. We'll be right back after this short break. And hey, for the latest game highlights and analysis, download the Giants mobile app on your device's app store. This week's toughest player of the game is driven by the Hess Toy Truck, on sale now at HessToyTruck.com. And today's toughest player of the game is running back Wayne Gallman, 53 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Hess, can we get a Wayne train from this one? The Hess Toy Truck, available at HessToyTruck.com. Let's have a listen to what Wayne had to say after this game, shall we?
Just really going out there and being myself and just showing who Wayne Gallman is, and just trying to do what's best for this team, capitalize on all my opportunities and just don't try to do too much for the play, but just make the play first.
Welcome back to Giants Postgame Wrap-up, presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Football Giants. We heard from Wayne Gallman, but let's have a listen to what the coach had to say after the 27-17 win over the Eagles today.
Look, first of all, I want to give a lot of credit to the Eagles. It's a well-coached team. It's a very explosive team. They're a tough team to play. Playing a team like that within a span of just a few weeks apart, there's a lot of things that you prepare for, and there's a lot of adjustments that they make, almost like extended halftime. They definitely do a good job of that. They did a good job in today's game making adjustments, keeping us on our toes. I thought all 3 coordinators made good adjustments on our sidelines to keep us in it, keep moving through it. Proud of the way the guys fought. We knew it was going to be a 60-minute game against Philadelphia. So we came out here, that was the emphasis. We had to finish the game. Went into halftime, a very similar situation to what it was last time we were down in Philly. We wanted to make sure we had a different result and came out as a team, and that was really the emphasis, was to finish the game. So that being said, open up to any questions you may have.
Art Stapleton, no record.
Hey, Joe. You guys had moments today where it seemed like maybe if you played on your heels, maybe you would have given the Eagles a little bit of an opportunity, especially on offense. That shot that Daniel took to Slayton, could you just talk about the confidence that you guys had in not allowing to kind of sit back and kind of let them do maybe what they did to you the first time?
Yeah, this is a team that if you think you're going to watch the clock tick down and it's just going to run out in your favor, you're going to be really wrong against the Eagles. They can score points at any point. Look, obviously in the first game they scored a lot down the late stretch of the game, the last 5 minutes. We couldn't sit back today and in any way, shape, or form think that we hadn't scored enough points. The emphasis was to keep scoring, to keep playing, play the entire game on through. That's always the emphasis, but with these guys, we knew it had to be, very driven towards getting points on as many drives as we can. Look, Daniel made a lot of big-time throws today. We had a lot of receivers make big-time catches, contested catches in traffic. We've got a lot of guys making tough plays right now down the field. We're always coaching and playing with an aggressive mentality. So in terms of having a lead, the lead really doesn't mean anything to us, to be honest with you, other than just knowing how some other team may play something situationally. But we knew it was going to be a 60-minute game, so we were going to stay aggressive throughout the entire thing. Daniel made some big-time throws today.
Tom Rock, Newsday.
Joe, have you seen the updated standings in the division yet?
I have not, Tom, and I'll tell everyone right now it's irrelevant. The only thing that matters is if we keep improving as a team and go 1-0 every week. So, the overall standings, we're not going to look at those. We're not going to focus on those. That's not an emphasis of our organization. We've got to keep improving as a team to give ourselves a chance to be the program we want to be.
And then just to sort of piggyback on Art's question, that drive after they cut it to 3 in the third quarter where 2 big strikes going down the field, how important was that just to the team's mentality?
Yeah, I think it's just important to have execution like that going down the field and having some big plays, back-to-back down there and get us in position and finish the drive off. With this team, we knew they were going to score points continuously. We had to be able to answer drives. Look, we came out in the second half. I don't think we started as fast as we wanted to. They did a good job on their part, but we responded the right way. As a team, we responded the right way, and I'm proud of the way the players played it on through.
Jordan Rana, ESPN.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Jordan.
Preaching, improvement, and that's kind of what you want from your team. What's different from your team now and the team that you had on the field today from the first time you played them compared to now?
Well, I think we've improved in a number of areas. Third down, 2 minute, these have been big emphasis for us throughout the season. I see that improvement from our team. I think the more time our players continually spend in our systems with Pat, Jason, and T-Mac, the more they understand and the more that we can build on what we can do, within a game plan within multiples. And that makes the adjustments on the sideline a lot easier because you can teach the players to say, we're going to play this defense now. It's just like playing X, Y, Z, the other defense, and they can correlate that into what their new assignment is. Look, I see the same fight in our teams that we've had the entire year. These guys haven't blinked. They haven't wavered. You know, we keep the emphasis on improving. That's really the most important thing for us. I've seen a lot of that continuously throughout the year. You know, really no different this week. I think these guys had a heck of a week of practice, and the way that they practice is the way it really reflects in how we play on Sundays. You know, we're out there for 2 rainy days today. Probably the only disappointing thing about today was that it didn't rain. You know, and the players are probably looking at me like, you know, come on, man. But, you know, we're going to be outside regardless, so.
Pat Leonard, Daily News.
Joe, what do you learn from Daniel Jones in a game like this where there's so much riding on it for you guys in your season, and he passes so accurately, he makes prudent decisions, he seemed decisive, you know, just seemed to put it all together in a game that you guys really needed. What does that tell you about him?
I didn't learn anything new about Daniel today. You know, I've known that the entire time working with him. I think we all have internally, and that's why the team has so much confidence in Daniel, and that's why he is our quarterback. You know, we're going to play aggressive with Daniel, and he's done a heck of a job of making the plays when we need it and, you know, making better decisions as we're going throughout the season. This guy's a young player who's developing. He's learning a lot every week. You can see his improvement week to week. You know, sometimes there's something you want to get off the tape, and he understands that, and we correct that in practice, work it hard. But there's a lot of games he's played where maybe there's a blemish that takes away from the 99% of the really good football he's played. But Daniel continues to really be an improving player. He's a tough dude. He's a really tough dude, mentally tough and physically tough. And that, you know, that really spreads throughout our entire team. And when he steps in that huddle, you know, there's 10 guys looking at him knowing that he's going to be the one to give them the answer to what the problem may be on the field.
And that sound from Giants head coach Joe Judge was brought to you by Toyota, the official vehicle of the New York Giants. And David, you know, we heard him say that he wants to see this Giants team improve as a team and just go 1-0 every week. A lot of people will say, well, that's just coach speak. But as a player, how real is that mentality and that approach?
It's very real. Obviously, they don't want to use cliches, but it's so true when you're talking about this team. This win kept the dream alive for the division and the playoffs, but it doesn't guarantee you a damn thing moving forward down the stretch. We saw this Giants football team last week and this week find ways to finish football games with the win column on their side of the ball. So when you look at them moving forward, when they go post-bye, it's all about one game at a time and controlling what you can control. And that's your actions, your performance, and how you execute week in and week out.
One game at a time, one day at a time. That's how we're going to take it. We are going to be back one segment at a time. After this commercial break, we're going to hear from Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. That and much more. Stay with us here on Giants Postgame Wrap-up, presented by Mercedes-Benz, the official luxury automobile of the New York Giants. Today's scoring drive of the game is brought to you by Investors Bank. Get the official New York Giants checking account only from Investors Bank. Visit investorsbank.com/Giants for more details. For the drive of the game, we take you to the third quarter, 2nd and 10. Daniel Jones tosses 27 yards to Sterling Shepard. The following play, Daniel Jones on the RPO looks deep, and a 38-yard pass to Golden Tate sets the Giants up at the 10-yard line. And after a couple run plays by Wayne Gallman, the Wayne train takes it into the end zone. The second touchdown of the day for Wayne Gallman. It's Wayne's World. We're just living in it. 13 plays, 75 yards, took 6:30 off the clock and put the Giants up 21-11 in the third quarter. All right, now we're going to send it over to see what quarterback Daniel Jones had to say about the win at MetLife.
You know, we were confident in what we were doing all day. You know, I think, you know, from an offensive standpoint, we felt like we were moving the ball and executing. You know, the Eagles came out fast and scored, and then, you know, being able to answer there was big for us. And then, you know, the defense, you know, bowed up and played huge down the stretch. So a lot of credit to those guys and how they played. But offensively, we felt like we were executing, and you know, it was up to us to keep drives going, to execute, and you know, keep the ball going forward.
Apart from the ability as a quarterback, when you hear about that toughness from your coach, what does that mean to you?
Yeah, I think that's an important part of playing the position is mental and physical toughness. I think for any football player, you know, especially a quarterback, and that's something I try to do, you know, every time I go out there on the field. So, you know, I think our team is you know, taking on that identity from coach, and you know, I think we're playing you know, a tough brand of football right now, and you know, I certainly try to be part of that.
Giants quarterback Daniel Jones. David, it was a good day for DJs this Sunday. DJ Dustin Johnson winning the Masters. DJ Daniel Jones leading this Giants team to win his 4th consecutive game with at least 20 complete passes. What are you liking from what you're seeing from Daniel Jones lately?
I think he played with a ton of confidence in today's game. He played with anticipation in the passing game. Obviously was a key element into the run game. But if anybody doubts Daniel Jones' grasp and understanding of this offense, look at the 3rd and 5 in the second quarter with 4:58 when they were on their own 7-yard line. He works the cadence to start. He gets the defense of the Eagles to show their hand. He checks the protection, works the cadence again, and then comes up with the perfect read and hits Dion Lewis on a 17-yard strike for the first down to keep that drive moving. Those are the types of plays and execution that we know Daniel Jones is capable of, and he showed it consistently today.
Absolutely. And not to mention that speed. He is sneaky fast
Yes,
for
he
a
is.
guy as tall as he is. I mean, that last game against the Eagles, he clocked into nearly 22 miles per hour, according to Next Gen Stats. Today, he was at a little over 19 miles per hour on that run. Gotta love that. That's a nice threat for Giants offense to have against opposing defenses. All right, we got a lot more coming up on the show. Stay with us here as Giants Postgame Wrap-up presented by Mercedes-Benz continues after this short break.
Man, we just taking it one game at a time. You know, like I told y'all last week, we know we're a pretty good football team. It's just about coming out here and executing it on game days. So, you know, we're gonna enjoy this bye week, rest our bodies, get some guys back, you know, prepare for this 6-game stretch.
Ralph Facciano, SNY.
You said before that you know you're a good football team. Obviously, putting together a couple of wins in a row shows that you might be right. Do you feel like you guys are starting to finally show what this team really is?
We're taking steps. You know, we still have a long way to go, but we're definitely taking steps. I definitely believe that we're a better team today than we were 3 weeks ago. And, you know, that showed, you know, 3 weeks ago, we lost this game, you know, in the final minutes, and now we found a way to hang on. So, you know, you just build off that, man, and keep executing, keep getting 1% better day in and day out.
I think it was huge this game, just because we all know how our last game went when we played those guys. So we knew we had to start fast and we had to finish the game, and that's what we did. We was able to execute the end and finish off the game. So it was a huge achievement for us.
A couple of Giants defenders there, Jabril Peppers, James Bradbury. First of all, James Bradbury is ball hawk.
Yes, he
Love
is.
to
He
see
is
the way
balling.
he's been playing on the field. And Jabril Peppers, too, he said an interesting point he made. The benefit of playing a team so soon after the first time you match up again is you can really see how much better you are as a group, as a unit, than you were the time before. He says, hey, we're better than we were 3 weeks ago. And 3 weeks ago, they played an Eagles team without a lot of their offensive weapons.
And they got all those weapons back, and it didn't matter when you hold the Eagles' offense to 0 for 9 on 3rd down, 1 for 3 on 4th down, and you'll sack Carson Wentz 3 times and keep him to 208 yards passing. You can have all those wide receivers you want, but when you have good coverage and pressure by your front, that's when you have a successful game plan. And that's the one thing that you can talk about this defense. They're holding one another accountable, and they know how to play off of each other's strengths now.
And a positive thing, too, this Giants team, the arrow is trending upward with what we've seen week in and week out. They've got a bye coming up this next week. But after that, our next game on the schedule, Sunday, November 29th, Giants at the Bengals. And remember, Giants Postgame Wrap-up will be here on MSG Networks at 11:30 p.m. Eastern as usual. But Diehl, what are you looking forward to in that matchup when you see that?
Well, first of all, I think that I'm looking forward for this bye week for them to get back physically and mentally ready, because that's the self-scouting period. You're going to learn offensively, defensively, special teams, what you do well, what you don't do well, and coaching staffs and the coaches are going to hand you a sheet of the corrections you need to make moving forward to help your football team win. So that's what I'm looking forward to, is how is this bye week going to get them back healthy but rejuvenate them moving forward for that Bengals game, because they're going to add some different wrinkles and some different diagnoses that you want to add to your playbook that your opposing upfront groups that are going to come in these next 5 weeks aren't going to know what's coming.
And, you know, the Giants, these players will not be going far because, as with the entire NFL, they're getting daily COVID testing, even on the bye week. Quickly, when you look at those self-scouting things, What stands out? What do you work on as a player when you're not on the field?
I think number one, just getting physically ready, but your techniques and fundamentals, what you've put on film, whether it's offensively or defensively, the opposing coordinators and players are going to try to attack those weaknesses until you correct them. So that's where you can make the corrections.
Make the corrections.
Exactly.
Gotta make them work. And then you know what? We're gonna be back here in a couple of weeks after the bye. For David Diehl, I'm Madelyn Burke. Enjoy the bye week. We'll miss you. Bye, 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 bye.